I had so much fun playing through those episodes with you guys. You know, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but I was a little skeptical about the new production. I got a lot from our last rewatch, and I'm totally a fan.
Okay, don't kill me. I haven't actually finished the first season yet.
Well, luckily for you, Trish, today we're doing a spoiler-filled recap of the first season, including play-along questions that every single person can answer. So we are totally ready for the Season 2 kickoff this Thursday. We'll be doing play-along games dropping with each episode as they release.
Be sure to subscribe to get notified when the new games go up so you can watch and play with us.
Last season, there were 5 main storylines to keep track of. We have Becoming Galadriel, Bad Humans, The Forging of the Rings, Khazad-Dûm, and Wizards and Hobbitses.
First up, the story of Galadriel, who you may remember as the ethereal elf queen in Lord of the Rings, but who is here a youthful elf of but 2,000 years. She's on a quest through Middle-earth to kill the Dark Lord Sauron and avenge her brother Finrod. However, it happens that she's been rubbing shoulders with Sauron, literally touching the darkness all season long with Halbrand, who is Sauron in disguise.
Ooh, deep-cut Lord of the Rings fans will know that before he was the Dark Lord in his own right, Sauron was himself a servant to a much greater evil. We're asking you viewers, who is Sauron an evil henchman to before he becomes the Dark Lord? You can select your answer from the choices below, and we'll reveal the answer in a few seconds.
So where does this Sauron guy even come from? Like, is he human? Is he an elf? He just kind of like shows up in the show from what I remember.
Well, like Gandalf the Wizard, he's a divine creature, but, even more powerful. And interesting lore point, while Gandalf's divine boss in the Lord of the Rings pantheon was a nature deity, Sauron's boss before he became a servant of evil with a capital E was Aule, the god of building stuff and the creator of the dwarves.
I actually did not know that, but it makes a lot of sense why Sauron is so in love with the rings, if he and the dwarves are tied to the same deity.
And it also hints at Tolkien's anti-tech sensibilities, which I guess makes sense for a survivor of World War I. But I think time's up on this trivia question, so later.
Yes, time is up. The correct answer was Morgoth, or as Galadriel would say in the show, Morgoth.
Humans are sort of all bad in Rings of Power, including the mostly good humans of Numenor and the mostly bad humans in the Southlands. But we make exceptions for romantic interest from time to time. The Southlanders are being threatened by a scourge of orcs digging tunnels beneath their feet, directed by an evil elf named Adar.
Oh God, these Southlanders are really getting it from all ends, huh?
Don't worry, it gets worse. The Numenorians come in to try to save the Southlanders from these orcs, but they're all, doomed when the famed volcano erupts, transforming the Southlands into Mordor, the land of shadow from Lord of the Rings. Critically, a Numenorian named Isildur is separated from his unit and left for dead in the commotion.
Oh, but don't worry, Trish. I know you were scared. Isildur is the son of Elendil and a distant ancestor of Aragorn, the famed hero from Lord of the Rings. So he, along with his dad and his brother, will definitely be alive in Season 2. And to refresh your memories on this hugely important family, we're asking you fans, what is the name of Isildur's younger brother? Fanboys in the audience should know this one like the back of their hand.
God, I will never get this.
It really is a hard one, but Elendil, Dad, later becomes the king of Gondor, and Bro, he's the ancestor of the human kings of Middle-earth. And Isildur, he cuts the One Ring from Sauron's hand, leading to it being lost for thousands of years.
Or until Gollum finds it, yes. But time's up. If you guessed Anarion for the trivia question, you would be correct.
You probably had that one.
Yeah.
Elrond and Galadriel, both characters in all the Lord of the Rings movies, are here lieutenants of Gil-galad, the High King of the Elves in Middle-earth. Elrond is tasked with helping Celebrimbor, the boss armorer of the elves, get mithril from the dwarves to forge some magical rings to save the elves. Galadriel, she pitches in by introducing them to a smith with special forging knowledge, who turns out to be Sauron again, Halbrand, who Galadriel uncovers at the very last moment.
But they were all of them deceived.
Yep.
Still, though, the elves are able to make the 3 rings using the knowledge they get from Sauron, which leads nicely into our next question. We're asking you fans to name the 3 rings of power. Type your answers down below, but type fast, because if someone guesses a name before you, you can't get points for it anymore.
So what happens to the rings? Does Sauron get them?
Luckily not. The three rings are actually split between Galadriel, Elrond, and Gil-galad, while Sauron presumably goes to Mount Doom to make his own.
Fun fact about this story, it includes a bit of a departure from canon, as Galadriel is actually a couple of thousand years older than Gil-galad and is in fact his grand aunt. You know?
Ooh. Well, I remember you talking about how the series takes a lot of liberties with the lore. I wonder why.
Those writers, you know, they want to put their stamp on it. They got to make it their own.
Of course, wouldn't we all want to make our stamp? But time's up on the trivia question, everyone. Internet, if you guessed Narya, Nenya, and Vilya, congratulations and points to you.
How about you, Trish? How did you do?
Nenya business. That's how I did.
Yes. Returning once more to the dwarves, we actually go deep into their lives in the mines of Moria, especially Durin IV, the son of King Durin III. Their drama surrounds a mineral called mithril, which is somehow connected to the elves and their ability to remain on Middle-earth and not to fade. King Durin wants to keep mithril a secret. Prince Durin wants to share it. It's a thing.
Yeah, I remember really loving the underground world of the dwarves in the series, which isn't surprising because dwarves always have some of the best, most lovable parts in Lord of the Rings and a lot of other media. Speaking of which, fans, we're asking you who you think the best dwarf ever is. Tell us your answer down below and we'll reveal which dwarf you all love in a few seconds.
So are there any other dwarves that we meet in the series?
There are. We meet Durin III's wonderful, iconic wife, Disa, who I think they're an OTP.
Yeah, and even beyond Rings of Power, we have Gimli from Lord of the Rings, and we have Thorin and all of his companions from The Hobbit.
I actually played one of the dwarves in my middle school play when we did The Hobbit.
Oh, which one?
It was either Philly or Killy. I think it was one of those two fun little pairings.
Killy's the heartthrob.
Oh, well.
As you may recall.
I'm not surprised. Look at me now.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Okay, everyone. Time's up on the poll. Thank you all for voting. And if you didn't vote for Philly or Killy, you're dead to me.
Finally, we have been talking about elves and dwarves and rings, but when people think Lord of the Rings, they think wizardses and hobbitses. In this series, we get a brand of nomadish hobbit called Harfoots. They're like Frodo and Sam, except they eat raspberries and snails instead of beer and cheese. I don't know, maybe they eat both. Their jolly life is interrupted when a Harfoot named Nori gives shelter to a mysterious magical guy called the Stranger. Then Mount Doom erupts and the Stranger defeats 3 magical marauders and, stuff gets really serious.
So do we ever learn who the stranger is?
Not yet, but everyone has an opinion about who it might be. We do know that he's one of the 5 Istari wizards. Speaking of which, fans, we're asking you to name these Istari wizards. There are 5 in total in Lord of the Rings, but we only get the names of 3 of them. So name as many as you can.
Oh my God. So this is pretty niche, right? I'm going to get a big 0 on this one. 0 out of 5 stars.
Trish, you definitely know one of them, right? Think Ian McKellen, you shall not pass. Fly, you fools.
Ooh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, there are lots of hints about who it might be. He says, follow your nose. He has an association with fire, like a certain wizard we know. He loves hobbitses. I mean, any second now he's going to be smoking pipe weed. It's the G-Man, I think.
Well, I think we all secretly hope that he's Gandalf, but if not, he could be Saruman, or Radagast, or the Blue Wizards, Alatar, or Palando, which are the 5 possible answers to this trivia question. And with that, we have covered the whole first season. Hope all of your memories are refreshed and that you're ready for an exciting new season of Rings of Power.
I gotta tell you, I learned a lot today. I'm feeling pretty smart, like I watched the whole season.
That was a full meal. I'm feeling quite satisfied. But there's so many questions that we have still yet to answer. Season 2 cannot be coming fast enough for me.
Well, thank you all so much for watching and playing along with us today.
Check out play.beyondtheair.com to play along with your favorite shows and movies, including our games for Rings of Power Season 1.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can play along with us live as each episode of Season 2 comes out. Until next time, I'm Trish, here with Keith and JJ, and we can't wait to see you on TV.
Bye, everyone.